Yo, welcome back. So, last episode was a bit messy trying to get these cookies set up. I did a bit of digging, and it's not that we were doing something wrong, it's just that apparently setting the cookie, I guess after setting the body's content, sort of fucks some stuff up. I'm assuming that might be because the content length might depend on the headers. I'm not entirely sure. But whatever the case may be, whenever I set up this exact same thing and I made the request myself by, clearing, setting this, and that, things worked a little better. So what I might do is I know we had the file in here, response utils, where essentially I want to do the same thing, but with setting a header. Or how could we actually do it? Just for testing purposes, let's say make text with cookie, right? Just so we can test it. So content instead of URL here. So content. Now when I receive a cookie, yeah, that's the annoying part. Do they have a cookie object that we can like construct? Pardon me. So here on the thingamabob. Well, I guess, what do we want from here? We want the name, the value. Let's stick with the name and the value. So cookie name. This is just for testing, anyways. Cookie value. We're gonna just comment this out because at some point we're gonna transform this into redirect with cookie. So at least I hope this works, where we can redirect them to the main page, yet at the same time set a cookie. Okay, so this is just setting the caching thing, so don't cache this request because we're going to be changing it multiple times. This is setting the content type. For the body, we're going to set this, and then we just cannot forget to say set cookie name, sure, whatever, secure false. Yeah, it's about it. And here we're going to make a text with cookie, so total cookies, we're going to say that, and then here cookie name. Oh, what did we set it to? So session, it's our session cookie. And the value we set it to 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's test it with this. It's a bit annoying, but heck, there you go, session 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think that's because I was testing this earlier. Let's go ahead and just delete all of the cookies. First one says total cookies is 0. That's normal, because before our request was here, we did have 0 cookies. And then we refresh it again, session 1, 2, 3. And you can see this is being handled by this. So we found the session and then it's just making a response with the session's value. We might actually have like private string get current session, because we're gonna need to get the session key, not key, the request. We're gonna need to get it multiple times because every time we make a request through the HTTP protocol, which is what this is currently using, as you can see here. What was I going to say? We're going to have to re-authenticate them. Well, not re-authenticate them, just check that their token is valid and they are indeed referring to them to a valid token. So we can link, hey, this private token that the user gave us is indeed linked to that dude right there, that fella. So we can ensure as much as possible that the person that is making the request is who they say they are. So what we're going to do here in this get current session, instead of just doing that, we're going to do this. Otherwise, we're going to just return no. What could be interesting, instead of having this, we could just say try get this, having a boolean out string value, right? Out string session value. And then in here, we just say return true, we found it, and we make sure we set this, otherwise this equals to default, which will be null. And then return false. Why is it complaining with default? Oh, because it's not nullable. I guess we could just say string that empty. So try getting current session. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Now we can get rid of this. We don't need this, so we can put our old login back. I guess we no longer need none of these because we're not doing any weird shenanigans anymore. Oops. So let's see, what were we doing here? So this is where we were trying to set a cookie at some point. So create session and set cookie. And this is where we want to replace it with our make X with cookie. So this is where we want to say session and then session ID. And we also want to say the duration. So int duration in seconds. So if we go back to our file here, this is where we can send in how many seconds we want it to be valid for, right? After that amount of time, the browser is going to automatically delete it from the user's machine. And in our scenario here, apparently we just made it to be 60 seconds, but we should probably make it something like a month, 2 months, 4 months, whatever you feel like it's a good balance between not because if you put like for 2 years and if somebody gets their machine, technically they can still access the website. It's a bit of a balance between security and convenience. I mean, yeah, let's potentially try this and see what happens now. All right, so if you go back to this page, go log in, we're getting redirected. Notice that I got rid of my cache and then I select an email, created session. Now what should happen now? I don't think there's anything that's trying to access the session again. So we could, for example, whenever we log in again, we could say if try get current session, we need to send the request again. And I removed the HTTP request. Might be confused. Here. Request, let's call it rec. So if there was a session, make redirect to root URL. I guess that makes sense. So like sending them back to the index page technically, and not log in again, right? Yeah. And then here we don't really care about the value that it's being given to us. And of course here we need to pass in the request that we just received to the thingamabob. We should still be logged in, technically, even though maybe 1 second has already passed, 1 minute. If we log in, we're sent back to the index page, and this means that the cookie is still there. So if you go to the cookies, manage cookies, here it is. And we could potentially, why is it loading so slow? Here, I should have fixed, there was some background processes running in the background processes that were slowing things down. It might have muffled a bit my voice, but should be better from here on out. Anyways, here, if we go back to login, we're coming back and forth because the session is still there. Now, this doesn't mean the session is valid because we're not checking for that right now, which we probably should have some sort of helper methods for that. But what I wanted to show before doing any of that is I wanted to go ahead and open our database in that VS Code extension we installed last time, and I want to see if we find the session we just created in there. And if it, because here, if we go to sessions, we don't have anything. Interesting. So if I close this, that's bizarre. Didn't we create a session? Look here. I guess we're not checking if the session was created. Okay, so let's say if the session wasn't created, then we're gonna go ahead and for one return, break the whole thing, and send off fail to create session. Yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead and try that again. Let's see if we manage to get a full-on cycle. Now this is gonna redirect me back. Let's go ahead and clear our cookies. Of course, then we're gonna log in. Now we're back on this page. We log in. Fail to create session. Huh, interesting. Oh, I didn't notice this before. Near free. So let's see what is happening here. Oh, I think I didn't. So if yeah, there needs to be like these little comma things, not comma. Did I add something else in there? No. Oh, this can be null. So I guess we should do something like, if that is null, then say null. Does this work? Ooh, what did I do? Do I need to do this? If this is null, then null. Otherwise, it's self dot value. Of course, and we need, I guess, do I even need to say dot value? I guess I don't. So let's try this again. Start the server and port, localhost, login, created session. So now if we go to login, we should be there. If we stop everything, just so we give ourselves some breathing time, and we go back over to this guy, sessions, as you can see, there's one session in there. So we have a session ID, we have a user ID, which should be the same one that is stored in here. So 115, 115, start time, and then we have an end time. Now, what is interesting is if we wait a minute, so until we reach this time, and we restart the server, if our SQL query works correctly, it should delete this from the sessions. So, okay, 8 seconds. Is there a way that I can check the actual seconds? Let's just wait 7 seconds, restart the server, and let's see if it deletes this. And once it deleted it, the client's still gonna have it on their side. So we cannot just confirm that they are logged in by checking the cookies. We need to actually get the session cookie and verify that it is a valid session ID. Let's start this, initialize everything, and if we go back here and reopen this, the sessions are gone. Now, we're only doing this cleanup thing once we start the server. It might be good to have it done periodically, so every X amount of time it does that. And we can actually very easily do this. So right now, if we go to our database, this is happening all in one function. Let's separate this so that it happens in a different function that we can call it separately, right? So let's extract this and let's say do session cleanup, right? And then it does its thing. This can be SMD, doesn't have to be SMD2 no more. In a database, we'll still do this, but if we go here on our program, see here where we're sleeping for 2 seconds? We could actually sleep for a stupid amount of time. Actually, let me do some research and seeing what happens if I sleep for like, I don't know, 10 days. Is it still going to work? Yeah. So from my extremely quick search, it seems that is a bad idea. I was sort of thinking that is a bad idea. But that doesn't mean we cannot still use this loop here to handle that. So let's create a new function, static void, let's say tasks scheduler or something like that, or like garbage scheduler, garbage scheduler, whatever it is. And let's call this function instead of doing it in here, and let's move it inside the garbage scheduler. And here we're gonna have something like long waited seconds. And every time we wait, we can just say plus equals 2. Could potentially do 5. So every time we do this check, we're going to be incrementing this. And we can say, for example, if waited seconds is bigger than, how long do we want to do this thing for? Let's say every day we want to do this. Then it'd be like 60 seconds is a minute. This is an hour. And this is a day, right? If we just calculate the value, just make sure we're not going crazy, this should be the amount. So 60 seconds an hour, 24 hours is a day. Yeah. So every 24 hours. And then here we're gonna need a reference to our database. We're gonna say database dot. What did we call the function? Did we even make it public? No. Boom, public bool. So here I'm going to say do session cleanup. We need the resources folder, so string resource. Why do we need the resources folder for that? Oh, because we are getting the, gotcha, the query from that. So the database and the resources. Whoops. There you go. And we could have const long seconds in a day. There you go. And I was about to forget this. And then here we can reset the timer, and we're gonna start waiting for a day again. Very simple. Here we need to send the database and the resources path, which we have right here. And we're good. Every day, at the end of the day, is gonna rerun that query and it's gonna do its thing. And what's interesting as well is that this query that we run usually, it's not. I was gonna say that it's async. Now it's async. We want to make this a task. We do want to run it asynchronously. So it gives us, oh wait, why can't I? What is happening here? Do I have to like get the, oh, duh. And we want to do something similar here. Like I was saying, we do want it to be synchronously because we do not want to stall the application while this is doing its query. So essentially we want to do the same, exact same thing in here. And then here we want to await. Now this might have some, yeah, here. So let's make this async. I hope that's something that we can indeed do. And this, there you go. So it's gonna wait for that to finish before continue doing its shenanigans and starting async. I hope this isn't an issue. We can easily test that by just playing. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna show you an extremely easy way to work around this. An extremely lazy way to work around this too, which is just do main and send in the args. There you go. Easy peasy melon squeezy. And then this isn't, what, actually, I'm curious, why isn't it, do I at some point do read line? Read line, I don't. Okay, well, whatever, doesn't really matter. It's working as intended. I'm not gonna ask too many questions. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to write something in here, as in, we are about to do a cleanup. Cleanup sessions. That way we can know what's happening and it's letting us know. So for example, if we made a mistake and it's executing every single 2 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever, we would see it show up here. That's cool. Oh, actually, I know why it is working, because we're not doing anything with the async in here that forces it to be on a different thread. Because async doesn't mean it's on a different thread. And when we're doing thread.sleep, we're actually making the main thread sleep. So that's pretty cool. We don't have to worry about awaiting or, well, the things. Let's create a class. I want to create a class. We could potentially do it part of the database. It could be, I mean, he's going to use the database to verify a session, so it could potentially be part of it. So, because we're doing like session cleanup and creating sessions here, we can also verify a session in this class. I was thinking if I should like create a different one, but I'm not sure. Let's just do it here for now. If we need to, we'll refactor it later. So, bool validate session, string session ID, out string user ID. It's a good way to go about it. And then with the user ID, we could fetch more info about the user if we ever need to. But this is direct. There's a direct link between the session and the user ID. There's not a direct link between the session and the user info. Okay? So what we're gonna do here? Here we need a query. A query. We need to query if there is a session with that name, and we also need to update these little sessions starting times and ending times. Let's go ahead and say from months. Is there such a thing as from months? There is not. There is from days. So we'll say 90 days. Fiance. So this should be valid for 90 days. Yeah. Also, now that I was thinking about it, there might here, since I was saying that this doesn't necessarily mean it's running on a different thread, we might want to put it inside a task. I'm not sure. We could do task.run very easily and just say run this. So this ensures this is running on a different thread. But I don't think it's actually necessary because I'm pretty certain the sessions are also being handled on. There's multi-threading already happening in here. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. Anywho, going back to our thing here. So we need a command. I'm going to just copy that. We need a command text, of course. Let's see, what do you come up with? I'm going to analyze you in a second. Let's try and execute it. So int result count equals to smd.execute non-query async. Do we want it to be async? I guess we do. I definitely think we should do all of these queries asynchronously. What am I doing? Oh, wait. Oh, this is a query. So execute. Let me find the docs on this. Here are the docs. So select from execute reader. Let's. Oh, do I have to? No. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this. Let's rename this to our thing. And nice. Well, that's the thing. We don't really care about depth, field count. We shouldn't have more than one result. Get string 0. So select user ID. So I guess get string 0 is correct because this is the user. We're only selecting that from sessions where session ID equals to the session ID and end time is null. No, that's stupid. And end time is... Where is our database file in it? Oh, we were already in it. Actually, not that the database. We want to check here the resources where we have this, because inside here, so where database is smaller, well, where it's bigger than that, and end time is bigger than the time that now means the token hasn't yet expired. This seems fine to me. Now we gotta be careful because whenever we do this, since the session ID is something that we are getting from the client, this is a potential point where clients can do some mischievous, right? So let's say, for example, they change their cookies, right? Because they can change their cookies. They have access to their cookies. It's on the client. It's not something the server is storing. It's something the client is storing. So we're trusting the client with the cookie. What they could do is instead of sending me the actual session ID, they could send me something like this, where the session ID equals to this, and so essentially what's going to happen is we're going to do this. And what this does is it's selecting from this where session ID is empty or 1 equals 1, aka always. So this is going to be true for all the entries on the sessions, and if we do something like printing them like we're doing here, we're going to print conveniently all the session IDs or user IDs for all the entries in the database. Yeah, so we got to be extremely careful with these. I wonder if C# has some built-in functions to automatically filter these out. Let me Google real quick. Here you go. So in the docs, there's a thing called parameters. So parameter use protects against SQL injection attacks, which is exactly what I was talking about. So it's doing some extra checks on the value that we're passing to ensure that it isn't manipulating the query in a way that goes against what we want it to do, because we want it just to be a value. We don't want it to manipulate the whole sequence. So this is how it works. So yeah, so I was tinkering a bit with this. So essentially here we want to say just session ID, parameters add with value, session ID, you're gonna add the session ID. So now it makes it so we're secure. I wonder if I don't need to add a little code. So I guess we're gonna test this, we're gonna see if it works. Because see, in this scenario, he did not add these little guys. So I guess potentially doing just this? Nah, it feels a little dirty. I'm gonna keep it here. Okay, so I gotta prefix it with specific things. Truncation, so maximum size, sure. And you can specify a type as well. Interesting. I guess we could say that this.sql type equals text. Or what else do we have here? It's text that we want. So I guess then we don't really need to add the little quotations because we're already specifying it's text, so I'm expecting it to handle it appropriately. Oh yeah, we cannot have an out. So we need a session response. So public struct, we're gonna add it outside here. Public struct, where it's gonna have a public string user ID. And then public bool valid session. And then we're gonna have at some point return default. Okay, and of course we need a catch. What is it complaining about? Oh, yeah, I can do that. User ID, and then here is where we can return that. And then here we can say the error, and then we're gonna handle the error like we're handling here. We could just simplify our lives and have a static void handle exception where we say SQLite exception and just do this, right? I'm gonna move it to the top so that it's clear where it is and what it does. Oh yeah, and there's a different message. We can say string title. Alright, and then here we would say simply, yeah, this feels dumb, just putting an ass on. Error doing session cleanup. And then here, error creating session. And then here, validating session. Error creating user. Okay, this is being handled a bit differently. That should be about it. So this way, we don't have to repeat ourselves too much because we've been repeating it in a lot of places. Have it be async, yeah. And then once we return, this is going to exit the scope, and we should dispose of the reader automatically without us having to manually do it. So what we're going to do is on the session, on the login. So if we got a session out of our session ID and database that validates session, we need to make this async. Okay, we got the session response. We say if session response that is valid or valid, then we're going to redirect them back and cancel the rest. Otherwise, we're just going to ignore that they do have a token because it is invalid anyways, and we're going to restart the login process. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So starting this up, we are in the index here. Let's go to the login page. We're logging in, even though we had a token. I'm logging in, created session. If we do /login again, ooh, that shouldn't have happened. It means we failed to do something, yet we don't see no errors. Huh, interesting. Cookies. I do have a cookie. What is happening? The session is here. Starts with free DB. Is there a way that I can see my cookies? Free DB. So the session is there. Still trying to log in, which means that the session isn't valid. Otherwise, I don't want to do that. I want to say console.writeLine. Why is my keyboard all screwed up? Invalid session ID. And then I'm going to output the session ID. I just want to... Alright, let's try this again. So if I do login, and it's saying invalid session ID, yet it's the session that it's in here. Yeah, it's the exact same session. Why is it saying invalid session ID? That is beyond me. Could it be because of this? Let's try and go to the login page again. No, it's still doing the same thing. I wonder if it's this? Sessions. User ID. No? Sessions. Everything seems to be spelled correctly. It could be the check of the dates that could be screwing up. Oops. Yeah. No, it's still sending me here. And it keeps saying invalid session. Am I just sending something stupid here? No, I'm saying valid true. Session not. This is I'm potentially just reading it wrong. So let's see, log in. Session not found. So that's interesting. Select from where User ID is a string. It's text. By the way, is this a read-only thing? Yeah, it looks like it is. I was like, can I change the role to something else? But it doesn't seem like I can. Can I delete something? Doesn't look like I can either. I'm gonna go ahead and say here, read. I wonder if read here, for some reason, is failing instantly. Let's see what was logged. Yeah, so read was never called. Are we doing something wrong? So command, create command that text is say from this where session ID equals to, and then we pass in that. I mean, now that I removed the date check, I want to also remove this and ensure that it's not doing some like double quotes or something. Doesn't? Yeah, this is weird. I want to add this thing. I don't want to lose this. Let's do this. Let's not specify the type. Still doing it. Session not found. And session not found is being called here. And this is never called. Do I need to say read async? Because we are doing async, so get string. Get string doesn't have an async variant. I mean, it could be possible that, but how much? That doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to ask ChatGPT while waiting for the response. Let me reopen this. Maybe there's. Oh, there. There isn't a session. Like, did that delete? Seriously? Did that delete? I'm a little confused. Okay. I close this. Let's log in. Boom, create a session. Here we should just get him back to this page. Anyways, let's log in again. No, it's still putting me here. Let me reopen this. Session is here though. Okay. And if we go to localhost and I open my network, CF something, CF something. Yeah, these are the same. And yeah, clearly the end time is the whatever months we set. I think it's about 3 months, give or take. Yet this still doesn't give me the thing. And let's see, if I restart this dude, it deleted it from the sessions. I'm pretty certain it's this code that is deleting it. Definitely something fishy going on here. Created session. Still bringing me back if I open SQLite. Session is here. If I close the server and restart the server, session is still there. But now, if I, whoopsie daisy, put this back and I start the server and I recheck my thing, the session is gone. So there's definitely something fishy with this. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is happening, but it's not being very helpful. I think what we could do is set this as a parameter, right? So here we can say now, And then back in the code where we're doing this, we could say this that parameters that add with value. And let's try it. Let's try it with this, because maybe the now is not returning what I think it is returning. So let's go back to our login. So it should have created here the new session. Now, the moment of the truth is, will it delete the entry again? So if I close and I reopen, it's still there. Okay. So that works. Still not sure why this doesn't work. Yeah, and then here we want to say this. Yeah, it still doesn't work. We can try it again just to make sure we're not going cray cray. And this should create two sessions, which is not ideal. We might want to have a way to, like, any duplicate sessions to only allow one, because we don't want multiple people to be logged in at once. So that would log out all the other sessions. Actually, maybe there is a way that we can ensure that this user ID is also unique. Yeah, so see here, user ID, email. We probably do this. I don't understand this well enough. But this does mean that we need to get rid of our current data. Does it, though? Yeah, it doesn't. We're not going to care about that right now. We might have to delete it, but that's not the issue that it's currently ongoing. The issue is that this isn't finding anything, and it's pissing me off. Reader dot next result. Did I miss something? Like, yeah, what I've also just realized is that we might have fucked up this. This is what we want. This datetime is a function. This would be a date, because see, whenever we're sending a date here, we're just sending it as a string, and then it sort of reinterprets it. End time. It's correct. Sessions. It's correct. I'm having a really hard time with this. For how long was I paused? For how long was I paused? I got it working. I think I showed that, right? You don't need a little quotations thing, and you got it. I got it working without using those. So also, I don't think we need that there. Now that I think of it, nor here. How did I not? I changed this to make redirect with cookie. I'm just going for the changes that I just did. So I passed in some stuff. Is secure. I'm setting secure to that. Duration. This is you've seen this. I changed the content to URL. So essentially, we are redirecting them and setting a cookie at the same time. And I also changed the body here on both of these, saying that you're being redirected to URL. They probably won't see this, but it depends. They might. I don't know. If they do, here it is. They're gonna know what's happening instead of just being like, "Hey, why is my page white? What's happening?" It's like, "Hey, you're being redirected." Yeah, and then here, make redirect with cookie to the root URL, so to the index. I added here a boolean is secure, and this boolean is secure. Essentially, we already had it is localhost. So if we are not localhost, aka we are remotely, it means that we are secure. And by secure, it's just HTTPS and SSL, or using SSL. Yeah, and then I was demonstrating that if I go to the login page, if we don't have a cookie, we can log in. We are logged in. Oh, interesting. I don't have a cookie. Let's see. Session ID 85. Oh, did it not set the cookie? Maybe it doesn't work. 85. Oh no, it did create a cookie. If I go log in, why? Why you gotta be like that? I'm not gonna pause again. I ain't pausing nothing. Wait, it doesn't have cookies? Why did the cookies disappear? So log in. Well, yeah, here it said it didn't. Whoa. Here it doesn't have anything, but here on the WAF, there you go. It should have said, oh, max age 0. Why is max age 0? All right. Duration in seconds. Maximum age. So if this is wrong, did we maybe exceed a maximum value for but no, that's not. Let's see, what did it say? Oh, it did say 0. What on earth? That's probably it. So I guess it was treating it as sort of a clock in the when I said that seconds. Did I not start? Okay, what is happening? Okay. Just problem after problem. It does seem like now we do have. Ah, there you go. We do have a session. But the session is borked. Now, let's do what I did before, which is on the database here. Instead of replacing the session ID, let's just full on expose the shit out of it here. Okay? It could be because I removed the thing from that. So if we go to log in, It's still putting me there. So this isn't the issue. It could very well be this, right? So if I remove that, when I do log in, now it's still taking me there. I mean, did it delete it? There's no chance. Oh, tough. Yeah, it's this shenanigan here. Okay. Yeah, I think our deleting of the sessions is a little screwed up in the head. So if we log in again, we're okay. Now we're being redirected back to the thing. We still have our session. Oh, oh, okay, no, never mind. I was like, oh, we don't have our session. How does our delete expire? It looks like this. I mean, this works. I mean, technically, we don't really need to do this. We could just do this. This should still work. But I'm afraid that our session might not be getting cleared properly. So let's do... Let's do some testing. Let's change this to be seconds, right? So let's change this to be, I don't know, 20 seconds. We're gonna come here, we're gonna come here, we're gonna go ahead and delete the cookies that we have right now. We're gonna go ahead to go to the login page, log in. We should be logged in for 20 seconds. So I'm gonna stop the server. We're gonna check our sessions table. There should be one here that should be expiring very soon. It's this one. We're gonna wait a little bit, and the idea is, if everything's set up properly, it should delete this one and keep this one. So if we go to the website, go to /login, it didn't log in. Let's see, do we still have the cookie in there? We don't have a cookie because it got deleted. And if we reopen this, oh, it's still there. It shouldn't be though. This session should be invalid. Okay, I'm gonna try. Is there a way I can manually inject here? Cookies, session, whoops. Copy. What? Hello? Can you not be a dick? Cut. Why isn't it copying? What the hell? Image to text. That's how lazy I am. Why wasn't it copying? The thing is broken. Oh, there you go. Why is it red? Okay, there it is. So if I say login, it works. But it shouldn't work, you know, because this is expired. Wow, this is broken. This key is no longer valid, yet it still works. So here in the database, I'm doing two universal time. That is UTC, right? I guess I can just ensure by calling the same thing in here. Did I restart the server? I think I did. It's still validating it. It shouldn't be validating it. It's not valid. Oh, actually, wait, no. Well, end time is bigger than UTC now. In universal time. So it appears to me that I need to ensure it is in a correct format. And I guess I can indeed do with the whole barely just did a weird noise. The whole shenanigan. Oh, I think that's kind of what I want. Okay. Now, so this failed. Oh, it's such a shame that I cannot copy this. Ugh, disgusting. Let's go ahead and copy this one. And it should count me as logged in. It shouldn't send me to the login page. Except it did send me to the login page. You shouldn't. It's probably because these are also set in a wrong format, if I understand correctly. So if I do this, I guess they're gonna delete everything. Let's do a private string to date. And we'll do date time to universal time, and then to string in that format. And then I can, for all the dates, I can just say this. So we no longer need to do all of this shenanigans. We can just do this. Is there any more dates? We probably also want to use parameters for these. And replace them here. To date. Date that now, because we are doing the conversion to universal time here. Okay. I have to make sure I do the same here. So to date that now. Date tie that now. Okay. Now this is also a place where we definitely want to do all this shenanigans. So command that parameters that add with value. Avatar role is band time. I think that's all of it. Yeah. And then here, can it do it by itself? Hey, look at that. All right. So we're starting. Let's open this sessions. They are still there. Log in, because we're already logged in. Let's go ahead and delete this. Log in. Boom. So it's already counting us as logged in. If we check the sessions, is this normal? And there's little quotations things in here. Did I forget to remove the quotations? Create session. No, I did not. Oh. Okay. So this is gonna give me the string. I guess I don't need to do that. Okay. Let's see. Let's try this again. So we're gonna clear the cookies. We're gonna log in. If we go to log in, it works. If we check the session that we just created, it's this one. All right, a little bathroom break. So I find it weird because this, right? Like, why is this a valid input here where it's clearly wrong? But why is it valid? Why do it be valid? If we restart the server, will this disappear? It did not. All right, let's see if we can figure something out with the date times. Date only, date time. Time only. I guess let's include this just the way that they intended it to. And let me check. Yeah, so I'm putting quotation marks on this. This is probably why it wasn't working. Let's see now, once I restart it, it deleted all the sessions. I don't know if it should have, but it did do that. Okay, so let's create a session. Log in. Gonna be quick, 20 seconds, boom. Gonna close, gonna restart. Probably the 20 seconds haven't passed yet. If we go to sessions, it's still there. Okay, I'm gonna give it some time. Yeah, so you can see now the format is with the, so the FFF part from what I read is the fraction of a second. So it's a very precise time. I guess 20 seconds probably passed by now. Let's go ahead and open the server. Oh god, thank god. It seems like it did work now. Yeah. What a shitty episode. I'm so glad we are getting this out of the way so we can actually start doing some fun stuff. What did I want to do? Oh, here. I want to go this from seconds to from days, and I want to put this back to 90 days. Now, since we are here again, let's go ahead and delete the data one last time. And I want to ensure that I cannot create two sessions for the same user. I want every user to only be able to have one session. Only one person can use one account at a time, okay? Like sort of Netflix revolution type things. We're gonna pull a Netflix on these guys. So I'm logged in. I should be able to just behave as normally. Let's go do some general testing by restarting the server, reopening this. Session is still there. So if after restarting, my session is still valid. Actually, let's do something interesting. Let's go ahead and change this token to something invalid. Instead of 5, I'm going to put a 10, so it's different. If I go ahead and log in, it prompts me to log in. And this is where I'm going to enter the second token. Let's see what happens on the server. Oh, error. Unique constraint on session user ID. So this is what we should do whenever we create a session, but I'm going to move this to the next episode, where we're going to be finalizing this session stuff. We're going to add some logout stuff, just some conveniences. I also plan on, so if you remember the index website, we're going to use some JavaScript to change the page dynamically, right? So if we are logged in, we're going to show this, and if we are not logged in, we're only going to show the button, some quality of life stuff, and yeah. And once we have this account management shenanigans, we can finally do some gameplay stuff. Because we have SSL, we have pretty much everything that we need from the basis. I know it's a bit of annoying stuff to have to deal with, but it's something that you know, usually it's skipped over or it's not handled in usual tutorials, and I think it's very extremely actually important to understand how all of these work and how you can make them secure. And because you could use this for an actual project. But yeah, enough talking. What did I want to do? Oh, I think I just wanted to finish the video. I'm gonna handle this session stuff, fixing the session stuff next session. Oh, before I leave you, actually, let's go ahead and push. There was some issues happening on the remote server because this site, it's not working. And I wanted to see why. I didn't dive into it. I was waiting for the video. But let's first go ahead and push in our changes. So let's say status, continuation of off, push that. Let's go ahead and go to our GitHub repo. Continuation of OAuth. Executing remote SSH commands. Successfully executed commands. Let's see, did it say anything? If I refresh, it still doesn't let me access it. Yeah, it doesn't do it. So I'm gonna go back into, I'm gonna SSH into the machine. So SSH I EC2 user at, what was the IP of the machine again? I think I had it in here unless I made it a secret. No, there it is, host. There to go. If we say this, basically trying to figure out if I don't see our server in here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into here, server, bin, release, .net, and we're gonna try and execute the 3D pixel server. Cannot find. Oh yeah, because I need to specify the things. Yeah, these two right here. So I guess for now we could just sort of fake it and handle the exception, and then there's no error. Interesting. So it's failing at create database connection. Yeah, it does have a data folder. What? Okay, so if we go to our program, so it says initializing, let's put it, creating database connection. Creating database connection, so this failed. I wonder if this is what caused unhandled exception. Can I do another catch and just say, yeah, error opening database connection, and then just put that. like so. Did I mess up with this? Is it maybe at so var db path, put this here, just so we can examine where it is trying to access it. Extra logs for debugging. Just gonna wait for this to finish doing its thing, and we'll see what is breaking on this end and why is it failing to do the connection thing. If we do another tree here and we check the data is empty, let's do server release.net 3D pixel server 5 creating database connection at unhandled exception. It's still giving me an unhandled exception. I guess we could run the debug version of this and see if it gives us more information. And if I do cd, yeah, this path is valid. Yeah, let's try, whoa, what did I do? Let's try and go to pixel server.net run. Oh, it's gonna give me an error. Yeah, could not find the off thing. This is not what was happening here. Yeah, no. Can I specify? Okay, so it's still giving me unhandled exception. Like, where is unhandled exception? Where is it? Could it be that it? It never gets to. So it says creating database connection, and then it never gets to the next line. Yeah, so it fails somewhere in here. What if we do something cheeky? So the idea is if this is the one that is throwing, because I don't know what else could be throwing, because I'm catching everything. Then that would mean there's something happening here. And if that's the case, then maybe I need the relative path. But it's just weird. Like it works fine on my end. Maybe I'll try some quotations. See how that works. Cheeky logs, it's already finished. Okay, so you can see that it is that is causing. So let's try and put something like this, right? Let's test it locally first to ensure that it still is a valid thing. It seems like it is. Encapsulate half in quotes. All right, and I'm hoping that is the only thing that is wrong. mean, for one, let's see if the website is no, it's still offline. So that wasn't the issue. Causing an exception. Oh, could it be because I don't have enough rights? Yeah, I don't exactly know what is happening here. Let's try to do something like this. So and then catch. Let's move this back up here. If something fails, we're just going to return. So error creating connection object, exception, exception. And this should give us some hints as to what is happening. This should still work as per usual on here. We don't really need that because that is not an issue. Log exception when creating connection object. It's weird having like when you're creating an object, having it throw something. It's very weird to me. I feel like it shouldn't throw in creating the object. It should throw when using the action. But I guess there is some initialization logic going on, like probably parsing and something. But it should probably only actually try and do stuff and throw errors when you try and open it. That's how I would envision it working in my little brain. But whatever. Of course, it's still not going to be working. We can do... Let's just do the same thing. The type initializer through an exception. Well, thank you. Wow. Wow, it's so insightful. Wow. So I'm looking at some people saying they had the same problem and deleting the bin and object folders helped them. So this might be some sort of weird things happening. Let's go ahead and remove directory force bin. Recursive. Let's also remove the object. And let's say .NET run 55. No, it's still throwing an exception. Is there a way to like recheck the Nugget packages? Yeah, it appears there's a Nugget update. Let's try a Nugget update. No, .NET Nugget update. What source? I don't. What do you want from me? Reinstall package. I try to ask here ChatGPT some commands. So let's go ahead. Clear package cache. Okay. Restore the packages. And build. There's something weird happening. I'm gonna try something real quick. So what if we say, let's go open the program here in Vim. And if we scroll down to this thing right here. Let's say test.sqlite. Oh, I think it's SQLite. Now let's go ahead and try and run it again. See, that's not normal. There's something broken. Let's go to the Nugget website on this. Versions. Switch it with this dude. Was I just using the wrong? I don't know, but if it works, it works. I'm not gonna question it too much. There's probably some bug, I guess. Maybe I'm just stupid and I used the wrong version. Not entirely sure. Let's make sure this one works locally too. It does. Fantastic. And let's push this fixed. Status add commit use version that works for Linux machine. Alrighty. Now this now should theoretically work. If we go here to our actions, let's prepare. It's still not. Oh, it's up. It's up. Yeah, it works. If we do log in, I'm logged in. If we do log in again, cool. That was annoying. The website is back. See you next one.